Welcome back to EWR, where we turn terrifying financial topics into comedy gold. Today, we talk about the one thing your financial advisor calls the safest investment in the world.
Meet Bob. Bob just bought a government bond. He feels like a financial genius and extremely secure. Then she checks the news. The country she lent money to is suddenly acting a little bit irresponsible.
Wait, what? Can a whole country just decide to skip their debt payments like it's gym class?
Bob is confused. Governments can't go bankrupt like a company, right? Or can they? Who loses? The answer is more insane than you think. They don't call it bankruptcy. They call it sovereign default. Join us as we track Bob's safe investment on a wild journey into global financial anarchy. Let's go!
The drama Bob is facing has a fancy name: sovereign default. It just means a government can't pay its bills.
It sounds simple, right? Like Bob missing his cable bill. But a country is not Bob, and this is where it gets complicated. When you run out of cash, you're done. When a country runs out of cash, they can just print more. So, default isn't about running out of paper. It's about a government choosing to avoid hyperinflation or just being broke in the wrong currency. Bob realizes the country's default is a choice, a decision to stop paying foreign loans and hurt its creditors. And guess what? Bob, with his safest investment, is now one of those very creditors about to get the bad news. To really grasp this global madness, let's simplify. Imagine Bob's bond is a loan to a truly deadbeat roommate. Bob lent his roommate, the country, money for pizza. Now Bob's broke, and the country is sleeping on his couch. Bob demands his money. The country yawns, looks at Bob, and says, "What are you gonna do about it exactly?"
This is the core problem. Bob can't evict a country. You can't send a repo man after an entire sovereign nation, right?
The country's only real punishment is financial exile. No one will lend them money ever again, for years. Bob gets it. He can't get his money back, but he can absolutely change the locks and never lend to the country again.
So how does a country actually hit the default button? It's not a single explosion. It's a terrifying multi-step process.
Step 1, the missed payment. The government has a bond payment due to Bob and just ignores the doorbell. Step 2, the creditors panic. Bob calls his friends. Everyone calls the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF. Step 3, debt restructuring. The country says, "We can't pay." So Bob is forced to take less money back, maybe 50 cents on the dollar. They might also change the loan terms. "We won't pay you back in 5 years, Bob. How about 30? And at a much lower interest rate." Bob realizes that because there's no global bankruptcy court, the debtor, the country, holds all the leverage. The country suffers a massive reputation hit, but they are physically fine. Bob? He just took a haircut on his investment.
Aha! Bob finally understands the true risk of sovereign bonds. When the rules change, there is nobody you can sue to win.
Let's look at a real-life example of what happens when a country just decides to hit the economic mute button. Argentina, 2001.
Argentina defaulted on over $93 billion of foreign debt. This is like the country burning Bob's entire house down.
To stop a total financial collapse, the government froze bank accounts. Citizens couldn't even access their own savings. Bob's foreign bond went from super safe to almost worthless. He had to accept a huge 65% loss on his initial investment.
So remember this lesson, Bob. When a country defaults, the fallout isn't just about big finance. The human cost is catastrophic.
But wait, Bob notices something weird as he counts his losses. He's not the only one holding worthless paper. Plot twist. Before Bob, the giant global banks and mutual funds held most of the country's debt.
When the country defaults, those huge banks lose billions, triggering a domino effect across the whole financial system.
The real loser isn't just Bob. It's every pension fund, every retirement account, and every person who trusted the system.
This is the dark side. When a country defaults, it's a financial earthquake that reaches right into Bob's small town.
Lame. But here's the weird part. Despite all this chaos, the country itself doesn't actually cease to exist.
Bob used to think. Sovereign default means the country vanishes. They pack up their passport and leave the planet. It feels logical. If a company can close, why can't a country? When you stop paying bills, the lights shut off. But here's the truth. A country cannot be liquidated. Default is not death. It's more like a painful, long financial coma.
Bob realizes the physical country remains. They still have people and land. They just can't access global credit.
The debt dragon tried to take over, but all it got was a massive reputation stain and a very confused look on its tiny face.
So, now that you know the truth about financial death, let's see how Bob uses this scary wisdom to invest like a pro.
Bob's journey into the abyss of sovereign default taught him one massive lesson we can all learn from today. Just because a government bond is safe doesn't mean it's safe from the risks of a country going rogue.
So, the true pro tip? Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially if that basket belongs to a whole country.
Wise Bob is now spreading his money across safe U.S. treasuries and across many different global economies.
The world is a complex place, but your money doesn't have to be. Thanks for watching EWR. Like, subscribe, and stay wise, folks.